Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. This is the 333rd edition, and the title of this episode is Not Hall of Fame. And we got some music from somebody that'll be here, but thank you because you are listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. We have the First Lady of Sports Talk, the one and only, the one and only. We didn't say two duplicates, no menage a trois and stuff. We got the one and only First Lady of Sports Talk, Cheryl Smith, Goddess Kelli, the Diva of Sports Debate. Don't be getting in no debate with her now, because if it's sports, you're likely to come out looking like foolish. Now, check out the music this week on Shout Out. We are featuring performances from Chris Jasper. Will he find his shining star or get the cold, below zero cold feel of the mute button? First Lady, we're ready. What you say?
Each week we try to figure out what is going on in the sports world. Not the plays of the week, more like the players of the week. Are they trying to tell us something? So we ask, what you saying? Fly, little birdie, fly. Time keeps on slipping into the future. Time keeps on slipping into the future. So I want to fly like an eagle to the sea. Fly like an eagle, let the spirit carry me. I want to fly right into the future. The little birdie known as Dak Prescott may wish he had a ticket on Southwest Airlines so he can fly far away after chirping comments he supported Jerry Jones' views on the protests involving the national anthem. It has been said that Thurgood Marshall was once asked about Clarence Thomas being appointed to the Supreme Court and becoming the nation's second black Supreme Court justice. There is a dispute if he said these words, quote, whether it's a white snake or a black snake, they both bite, unquote. In the eyes of Dak's fellow players, is taking the side of management kind of snake-like? If he were a white player, would this even be an issue? Does this bode well for the Cowboys season? Janae Garofalo, Lonnie Love, Maria Bamford, and the Steve Miller Band are asking, what you saying? Well, Dak Prescott said it wasn't the right time or place for NFL players to kneel in protest during the national anthem. Since his initial statement, he made another statement to clarify his first statement. And I'm going to read the exact quote he said. I think there was a little misunderstanding of the fact of what I believe in. I never said I didn't believe in social injustice and things that were going on. I just said I didn't think that the national anthem was the time. It's 2 minutes out of our day that we could always be spending embracing what our country should be and what our country is going to be one day, that we know that it's not right now. That is the sad part about this. That is not. Well, I don't know. Unfortunately for Dak, I don't think he really cleared up his statement because I believe he was the only black athlete from any sport that spoke out against the athletes, what they were doing regarding the protest. I just can't remember I don't remember hearing another athlete speaking out, especially a black athlete. So he put the target on himself. And furthermore, I didn't know if it was a direct question he was asked or he just voluntarily said those things, because I know he was at it was a press conference that he had at training camp. So, I wasn't privy to know if somebody asked him a direct question. But regardless, it is obvious that Jerry and Stephen Jones has instilled talking points for their players, because even Zeke Elliott had something to say about the situation. The one thing he said, the Cowboys players chose to stand together, and he said he wasn't knocking anyone who didn't want to kneel. To me, that was fine what Zeke said, because at least he didn't come out and say that the protest was wrong. To me, Dak blatantly disrespected the players for kneeling, which is like a snake in the grass. If you want to call it snake-like, it is kind of snake-like. But, Jerry and Stephen Jones have put their players, and particularly the black players, in a difficult situation because their strong position regarding the anthem, has made it very difficult for their players to respond because they're constantly going to be asked about the position of Jerry and Stephen Jones. So, I mean, the thing is, though, you don't need to throw your other players on the bus like Dak did. And I just really think he did throw them under the bus. He could have responded differently to that question. And if he had done it differently, he wouldn't have been, they wouldn't have blasted him on social media. I mean, I thought it was a little bit harsh what they said, but the thing is, Dak put himself in that predicament. And, of course, if Dak were white, it wouldn't be an issue because, there's already been some white players that haven't spoken out against the protest. Not too many, but there has been a few. So, it's just a situation that Dak Prescott, you need to be careful what you say, but, the situation with Jerry Jones and Stephen Jones, I mean, they're putting this situation, they're putting their players in some bad situation. That's basically, to me, what the major problem is. Goddess Kelli, I know you really are very outspoken about this particular topic, and you've written about it. What do you think about it?
Well, I mean, first of all, the part that really confused me is the fact that Dak Prescott is black. Like, I had no idea he was black. I mean, like, I see his skin color, but, like, seriously, his name is Dakota Rain. And I know, there are some black people out there that name their kids some rather outlandish things sometimes, but I don't know any black people that would name their child Dakota Rain. That is just absurd to me. So I don't think that the black community wants to claim Dak Prescott. And speaking on behalf of the white community, we don't want to claim him either. Like, maybe he can go and be honorary Puerto Rican or something. I don't know. But nobody wants Dak Prescott on their side. And I've got a message for Dak as well. You're still under a rookie contract, kid. So until it's time to negotiate for your 5th year or your next contract extension, you don't need to stick your head that far up Jerry Jones's butt, okay? Stick with the players. Football is a sport of camaraderie, a sport of brotherhood between yourself and the other players, not between you and the owner, okay? You need to stand up, or in this case, kneel down with the members of your community who are your fellow brother players who see the injustice on the street and are trying to do something to raise awareness about it, to try and change perceptions and attitudes in this country and say that we are not going to stand for prejudice in our police forces and for policemen of any color to be shooting unarmed suspects also of any color. But again, as I've pointed out numerous times, if you look at the numbers, it is extremely skewed in the fact that the people being shot unarmed are majority black. If you look at the difference in population, it is absolutely ridiculous. If you are a black person in this country, you are 4 times more likely to be shot unarmed than a white person. To me, that is a problem of racial injustice. There's no other way to put it. So you can stand up and say that it's not right for the players to do this. You have a right to your opinion, Dak Prescott. You really do. Everyone has the right to speak their mind. And one of my big issues with this is the fact that the president and the majority of other people out there are attempting to silence these players. But to stand up and just take the side of management, Dak, that's a really bad look. You are alienating yourself. You are making yourself a target. And you know what? There is a lot of black defensive ends in the NFL, and you can bet your not-so-black ass they are going to be coming for you this season after that Uncle Tom move you just made. And that's all I'm saying.
Well, that's from a voice of a white woman. I'm a black woman, and she was harsher on Dak Prescott than I was. But let me just put it this way. I believe Dak is a biracial child. I believe his mother is white, so that's, I think, where that name came from. So, but
that makes sense.
That makes sense. All right. Spitface, what is your feelings regarding
Well, first, I will not blame his behavior on his mom. I'm sure his mama, even though his mama gave him, her childhood sweetheart name, that's okay. But mama didn't have nothing to do with this foolishness. Mama, that mama is sitting up there going, boy, I tried to tell you, you ain't white. Why did you not listen to me? I tried to tell you, I'm white. You ain't. you know, it's let me have, you know how, I can imagine. Let me give you the talk, son. No. I'm white. You ain't. Now that ain't no problem with us, but there's some peoples out there, they got issues. So Mama raised him right, and then he became an idiot once he got in the NFL. Now that ain't her fault. Look, sir, I did the best I could with you. Now, Dak, first off, Dak, what were you studying in college? 'Cause did you miss the social psychology class? Because I think you might have snoozed in that class. Because there are some appropriate answers that you come out looking good. An appropriate answer could have been, I stand with my fellow players, whether they agree with this form of protest or not. That's all I'm saying. And shut up. That would have been the appropriate. But see, you were sitting there, you went to that psychology class in college, and you probably got a B. And the reason you got that B was you missed A. That is called the appropriate response. If you, I'm sitting up there for all the tweeting and Facebooking and Instagram and, y'all still don't know how to talk in public. So, Bras, Panties, and Sports got a special for you. Because, see, while you sidelined from that losing season the Cowboys going to have, you're going to need a friend. And we got special sessions for you with Goddess Kelli and the First Lady. And it's only a mere fraction of what you need to pay to retake that psychology 101 class. That's all I'm saying.
Well, you're right. One thing, Goddess Kelli, he might be a target, and like you said, he has to stand with the brotherhood, and that's something he just didn't do. So we'll see. We'll see. Well, the Cowboys are not going to do well anyway because they don't make the playoffs. So and really, Dak definitely needs to have a good season this year because last year was not great at all. All right, Goddess Kelli, over to you.
You need a friend.
Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, rocking my peers and putting suckers in fear. Making the tears rain down like a monsoon. Listen to the bass go boom. Explosion, overpowering over the competition. I'm towering. Wrecking shop when I drop these lyrics that'll make you call the cops. Don't you dare stare, you better move. Don't ever compare me to the rest, it'll all get sliced and diced. Competition paying the price. I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out. We are not talking about Sarah Silverman, Lisa Lampanelli, or Margaret Cho. We are talking about the knockout punch. An investigation is landing on Coach Urban Meyer of Ohio State, and separately, a sex abuse scandal with the wrestling team. Urban Meyer vehemently denied he had any knowledge of domestic abuse allegations against former wide receivers coach Zach Smith. After an investigation, it appears that the coach was not telling the whole truth and nothing but the truth. Thus, Coach Urban Meyer has been put on suspension with pay as the investigation proceeds. Are we seeing the end of an era in a very bad way? Does the separate investigation into sex abuse charges by an ex-doctor for the Ohio State wrestling team put a burden on the university that may force their hand in dealing with Meyer? It has been reported that a certain congressman who was a coach for the wrestling team during the period of the sexual abuse knew about it and did nothing, which he denies. who's in a worse situation, the congressman or Coach Meyer? Joan Rivers, Lucille Ball, and Carol Burnett are asking, what you saying? Now, I gotta say, the producers are going heavy this morning. First, we're talking about social injustice. Now we're going into domestic violence and sexual abuse. It is getting deep on bras, panties, and sports this morning. But for me, with this issue, between which one is worse, whether it is the sex abuse scandal or the domestic violence, it's a really tough question to answer because both of these things are very hot-button topics and both are way too prevalent in today's society. We're seeing a lot of different people accused of both sexual misconduct and domestic violence. But in this case, I actually think that the sex abuse scandal is a lot worse. When it comes to the domestic violence, and especially the fact that they're saying that now Urban Meyer knew something about it, there's a little bit of burden of responsibility on the victim when it comes to domestic violence. I'm not victim shaming, I'm not victim blaming. But when it comes to domestic violence, there are usually physical proofs left on the body of the victim, whether it be bruises, cuts, that sort of thing. It is a much easier allegation to prove to law enforcement to try and get something done. So this woman could have used, those marks on her body to show that this was happening. Now, how much Urban Meyer knew about it, whether he saw how bad it was, we don't know. We don't know what his actual thoughts were at this point. There's a lot of us that have friends that, sometimes might get to drinking and then, they beat the crap out of each other. Is it domestic abuse? Is it wrong? Is it right? It's definitely a wrong situation, but sometimes it happens and sometimes it's mutual and sometimes that's just the way people's relationships are. Whereas other times there are women out there who are just complete victims and they absolutely need help. They're not dishing it out as bad as they're taking it. They're just taking it, and that is absolutely wrong. So we don't know how much Urban Meyer knew. We just knew that he knew something. And when it comes to the sexual abuse scandal, we're talking about a team doctor. That's somebody that's in a position of authority over these players, over these college kids. We think about college kids as adults, but the truth is they're still school children. They're in school. So a team doctor is somebody that's in a position of authority. And it is extremely hard to speak out against people that are in authority over you. You think that somebody like a doctor is going to have a reputation that you're not going to be able to tarnish. You're going to think that you're going to get called a liar. You're going to think that people are thinking you're got some kind of revenge. And it's much harder to prove sexual abuse than it is to prove physical abuse. Both leave a terrible mental stain, and I think sexual abuse probably leaves a much worse mental stain on the victim. But those stains are a lot harder for the public to see, and thus a lot harder to prove. So that's why I think if they get the proof in the sexual abuse scandal, which they do have a lot of testimony and a lot of things proving that, yes, it did probably happen, I think that it is a much worse thing. And I think that that doctor's reputation is going to be far beyond repair. He is going to be shunned. Hopefully he's going to go to jail. And then in the case of Urban Meyer, I think that this isn't necessarily going to be the end for him. It may be the end for him at Ohio State, but I don't think this is as bad as what happened to, say, Joe Paterno in the Jerry Sandusky thing, because Jerry Sandusky was sexually abusing these children. It's not the same thing as physical abuse between, adult partners. It's a different situation. So both terrible things, but I definitely think that the sexual abuse is much worse. First Lady, what do you think on this explosive issue?
Okay, well, you're absolutely right. They are two hot buttons right now, these two subjects. But sexual abuse allegations are definitely far more severe than the Urban Meyer situation because, as you indicated, that doctor was sexually abusing students within Ohio State. And if I'm not mistaken, the incident took place at the institution. So, the people who knew about this situation, they need to be fired if they knew about this situation because it's, like I said, this is definitely a far more severe situation than the Urban Meyer situation because, as you indicated, sexual abuse is a horrible thing, and you're entrusting the officials at the school to do the right thing. And when kids are going to school, college for a particular purpose, and this is the wrestling team, I mean, to deal with that from the doctor's point of view is just it's unheard of. And the same thing with the gymnasts and the kids that were at Michigan. That was another problem regarding you had officials taking advantage of children, and and the adults did absolutely nothing about it. So if these adults regarding this situation with the sexual abuse, they knew about it, again, we're at the situation about these institutions. What price will they pay for turning a blind eye to such an egregious act? And it just doesn't make any sense. But now the Urban Meyer situation, and the reason why I just think that is completely different is because we're talking about an employee of the Ohio State, and he worked under Urban Meyer. I mean, what took place was in his personal life, regardless of the fact that it was bad when it comes to physical abuse, but he's an employee that did something outside of the institution, whereas, like I was saying, the doctor, that was done within the institution. So that's, to me, the major, major difference. But, Urban Meyer, he initially denied this whole situation that took place in 2015 when he had the media day, and, he was point-blank asked the question, and he played dummy and denied the situation. But the problem is his accuser, Zach Smith, did interviews like a dummy. I don't even know why he did interviews. I'm not even sure who's representing him as a lawyer, because that was just completely crazy to go to the media outlets to talk about the situation. But he said Urban Meyer knew about the 2015 incident, and that Urban Meyer, claims after the fact, Urban Meyer came back out and stated that he did refer the incident to authorities, I guess, within the institution. Now, again, you don't know what to believe because he lied on one point, and then after he was outed out, he came and said something. So we really don't know who Urban Meyer told about the situation. My question is, normally when these type of situations happen, anybody in a working environment, you notify your HR department, and you let your HR department be responsible for handling the situation. So if he indeed did notify administration or HR, then you know what? I can't blame Urban Meyer, because usually you get direction from your HR department to tell you, okay, this situation we investigated, he needs to be fired. If he needs to be fired, then Urban Meyer should have fired him in 2015. Now the question is, he's still there. So if Urban Meyer told somebody, maybe they investigated it and they felt that it wasn't not significant, but they didn't have enough proof or whatever, even though Zach Smith's wife went to the police. So there definitely is a police report. So, the situation, again, I believe if Urban Meyer reported this situation correctly, then he should be allowed to stay on as coach. It should be the people in the administration that should suffer, if they did something wrong and they told him to keep the coach on. So, it's going to be interesting because obviously they're going to do the investigation. They have a committee. 3 of the committee is from the board on the committee, and then there's 3 independent other people from outside of the institution that's going to be investigating this. So it's really it's going to be very interesting because now all the truth is coming out, and from what we understand, Urban Meyer took Zach Smith's side of the situation. Now, I know everybody. We saw those pictures. So I don't know how that could have been an accident or if the 2 of them got into a physical fight. I don't know, but he was protecting himself. But I don't know. Those pictures were gruesome looking. So, I mean, I don't know how Urban Meyer could take Zach Smith's side on that situation. He should have, we'll see what the administration did as far as when he brought it to their attention. So he says. So we'll see. But it could be the end of an era for Urban Meyer. It really could be, and it's a shame. It's definitely a shame.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only people happy about this incident are people that are living in Ann Arbor, Michigan. But Spitface, what do you have to say on this one?
The one thing I do, the First Lady wondered who the guy's lawyer might have been to allow him to go out and open his and flap his jacks. And this is what happens when you hire Giuliani. Hey, the pattern is obvious. The second thing is between Urban Meyer and the wrestling situation. One of the big differences is that one is an incident. This incident happened. The other is systematic. A systematic abuse of these young guys over a period of time, with folks knowing or at least should have been aware. That's systematic. And the question was, who's in a worse situation, that congressman or Coach Meyer? Now, it may be the end of the era for Coach Meyer at Ohio State. It may be. But that does not mean that it's a waste situation. Because Coach Meyer could lay off for a year or two, and there will be an institution that will allow him to say, I learned from my mistakes. Please forgive me. All I want to do is bring y'all a championship. And they will pay him money, top dollar, and get him back in coaching. Now, the congressman who now is like contacting folks to pressure some of the players to recant what they said. Now, to me, that sounds downright criminal. Just watch this page. That's all I'm saying. Back, you got it, Kelli.
Well, my last point when it comes to the congressman is we've got a president in office right now that advocates just going ahead and grabbing them by the pussy. So when it comes to the congressman, this might fuck his status in Washington. We might see him make a bid for 2020.
Uh-oh.
But on that note, First Lady, take us to our first break.
The first two listeners to email us or send a shout-out with the reason these ladies are grouped together will receive a $25 gift card from our partners at IGOT.com and MBAstore.com. Your hint, giggle. Stay tuned. Coming up next, we have a performance from Chris Jasper on the first part of Shout-Out.
Don't get Giuliani as your lawyer. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Trump is at it again with
go ahead and get that one that that free one. You got
LeBron James, dumber than dumb.
Take one and no one.
The music flows in from around the globe to get a shout out from the panel. We've been on such a roll with great music, and First Lady, I am so excited to hear the music from Chris Jasper.
On Shout Out, we feature new independent artists who are looking to find their shining star. If we like what we hear, we'll give the track a shout out. If we don't like it, we hit the mute. And yes, today we are featuring the music of Chris Jasper. So DJ, let's hear Dance With Me.
What I feel inside. Found the words to introduce myself, and then I would like nothing else but to spend some time. Put your hand in mine. I wanna dance with you and romance with you. We'll be making plans for two. Oh, we were meant to be two. Be together. I wanna dance with you. Wanna dance with you, baby. Romance with you. Romance with you, honey. We'll be making plans for two. Oh, yes, we were meant to be together. I have to say that you're so fine. Is there anything that I can do to make you mine? I'm really gonna try and steal a kiss if it's alright, and be closer than friends tonight. I'm at peace with you, and what I wanna do, I wanna dance with you. Wanna dance with you, baby. Romance with you. Romance with you, honey. We'll be making plans for two. We were meant to be together. Together. I wanna dance with you. Oh. Romance with you. Romance with you, honey. We'll be making plans for two. Oh. We were meant to be together. Why don't you come a little closer, baby? Put your head on my shoulder and dance with me. I wanna be with you forever. We were meant to be together. I wanna dance with you. Dance with you, baby. Romance with you. Romance with you, honey. We making plans for two. We were meant to be together. Together. Oh. Dance with you. Wanna dance with you, baby. Romance with you. Romance with you, honey. We making plans for two. Oh. We were meant to be together. Dance with you. I wanna dance with you, girl. Romance with you. We'll be making plans for two. Put your hand in mine. We were meant to be. You're so fine. I wanna dance with you. Put your head on my shoulder. Romance with you. Come a little closer. We'll be making plans for two. Oh, we were meant to be together. Be together. I wanna dance with you. Wanna dance with you, honey. Romance with you. Romance with you, baby. We'll be making plans for two. We were meant to be together. I wanna dance with you. I wanna dance with you, baby. Romance with you. Romance with you, honey. We making plans for two. We were meant to be together.
Cool sounding song. I love when I started off. I'm all for old school type of music, R&B. I'm going to give that song a yo. I'm a little bit indecisive if I really like the song or not. The music was, I don't know. I'm kind of speechless. I'm basically, it didn't really move me the way I really needed to be moved when you're listening to music, but I believe he was trying to stay in his lane and the type of song it was, because I think he was trying to bring back that old feeling R&B, but I think he kind of missed it a little bit. But I don't know, because I love R&B and old school R&B, I'm going to give it a yo. That's the best I can say. Goddess Kelli, what did you think?
I'm kind of in the same boat that you are with this one. It kind of reminded me of, like, finding a dude on Match.com and, like, on paper, he looks awesome and, like, you really kind of connect in the virtual world, and then you meet for a first date, and then it turns out he's socially awkward and, like, 5'1". I liked the beginning instrumental when the music started. I was all like, okay, this is like some old school retro R&B vibe. I was digging the vibe. And then he started singing, and the voice was just weak to me. There was something, I don't know, for me, if you're going to be an R&B singer with this type of song, you need like that nice, manly voice. I have no problem with falsetto. You can do falsetto and still be manly, but his voice didn't have the confidence that I want from this type of music. So I'm going to give it a mute.
You're going to hit the mute button. That was a falsetto. I didn't think that was falsetto.
There's a little falsetto in there. Not the whole song, but parts of it.
All right. Speaking of old school Spitface, what did you think?
I like the track, but I have to give it a yo. I have to give it a yo, and definitely stayed in his lane, and as something that I would mix in, if we was doing some moving and grooving and just kind of kicking back, I would play it. But I can't give it a full-throated shout-out. There were just, as you ladies said, there were just certain things that just, wasn't feeling it. But I like it. Was a groovy tune. So I'm going to give it a yo.
Okay. Well, I think everybody seems to have the same feeling about that song. So on part 2 of the shout-out, we'll have another performance from Chris Jasper. But I believe it's that time. It's the sound of my favorite underwater friend. It's time for Flip It.
All right. It is time for Flip It. And Flipper looks like he done got a little tan. All right, okay, Flipper. While host defend appointed and flip the script and defend the opposing view. I know y'all been ready. Real NFL action is around the corner. And we wonder, who has a better chance of going from the cellar to the playoffs? Now, you know it happened every year, that a team that was in the cellar, they get their act together and start scrapping and get them a berth. The Chicago Bears and New York Giants had a forgettable season. Which team has a better chance to scratch their way to a playoff berth? Panel defend. The Bears are in the NFC North, and every team in their division is changing. The Giants have the Super Bowl champs, and a Washington team with a shiny new QB. The Bears have a better chance. Now, when I look at the Giants and the Bears, now, hey, I am still a Manning believer. I still believe Eli Manning got some tricks up his sleeve where if they get that line together and that running game together, he can have, he got some chances. But he got the Super Bowl champs in his division. He got the Philadelphia Ferocious Eagles. Did you see that defense? You see how mean them boys looked? And that was when they was being friendly. I'm going, man. They got a long way to go. And, the Washington team, they do have a quarterback that ain't going to get the other team the ball. Which is called, I don't know why that's like underrated, but I kind of think it's a good thing when you got a quarterback who says, well, you know what? I ain't going to give the other team the ball. Now, we may have to punt, but it ain't going to be because, here, y'all take the ball. And there's that team that, that plantation team. Massa. Massa. They got some pro bowlers, and they got, some young guns. So we shall see. I don't see the Giants rebounding. The Bears, they got, Minnesota got rid of their quarterback. You got Rodgers, he coming back, but his main men gone. That's all going, is up and jumbling. And there's a question if they really got the juice. Detroit, who knows with Detroit what they go do? So the Bears have a better chance to sneak up in the NFC North. Plus, they got a soft schedule. So that's all I'm saying. But God is Kelli.
All right, I'm going to try and
Diva sports debate. The Bears defend.
This is a hard one for me to defend, but I'm going to try. All right. Mitch Trubisky is a nice big ball of potential. I mean, I don't think we saw his true talent last season. I think that he's going to come out this season and he is going to surprise us. And like Spitface said, the Bears really do have a very weak schedule, whereas the Giants do have an extremely tough division with the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And, that team in Washington with Alex Smith as their brand new quarterback. And the Giants historically do have problems playing the Dallas Cowboys. No matter how good or bad the Cowboys seem to be, the Giants do struggle against them. And let's not forget that they've also got Eli Manning at the helm, and that is not something that should inspire confidence in this point of Eli's career. They also have some drama on that defense, so the Giants have got no chance, even with who should have been the number one draft pick, Saquon Barkley, out of Penn State, coming to help that team. They are sunk because one thing that the NFC East knows how to do is stop the run. But going back to the Bears, if we look at their division, I mean, the Lions aren't going to do anything. The Lions haven't done anything for years. We look at Aaron Rodgers, and as much as I love Aaron Rodgers with his beautiful icy eyes and his cool demeanor, he's coming off an injury and he's getting a little bit old in his shoes. He is getting towards the end and he hasn't been able to play a healthy season lately. He's been banged up quite a bit. His team has lost some of his weapons, and as much as I think he is a top quarterback, I don't think that he has got enough left or enough help around him to get the job done. We look at that team in Minnesota, the Vikings, and they were extremely demoralized last season when my reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles took them out. And now they picked up Kirk Cousins. Nobody's scared of Kirk Cousins, one of the most overrated quarterbacks in all of football. So based off of that, I think the Bears really do have a solid chance based off of being in a division that is in a bit of turmoil, that soft schedule of, sneaking up on everyone and being surprising and getting into the playoffs.
All right, First Lady with the last word, defend.
The Bears is a team that will be on the rise this year. The team will be markedly better than they were last year. I mean, first of all, they have a new coach in Matt Nagy, who will definitely bring an offense that will be better suited for Mitch Trubisky. I mean, Nagy's offense, he features the quarterback bootlegs and rollouts, which works well for Trubisky because, those are his strong points. He's always able to throw on the run. Now, the offense has definitely been upgraded, too, because they've had several signings. They were able to sign Allen Robinson, and, he was definitely a good receiver. So I definitely think the Bears will definitely be on the rise. And their defense was going to be improved, too, because they're going to have that rookie, Roquan Smith. And we know when he was with Georgia, that man can hit. Now, obviously, they changed some of the rules, so we'll see how he does with that. And number one thing they got to do, they got to sign that man. I don't know what the hell is going on with the Chicago Bears why they're not signing this man as of yet. He need to be in camp. But anyway, that's another story to begin with. But, he will definitely solidify their defense. Now, the Bears continue to have an excellent secondary defense. And with all that being said about the Bears, let's face it, the NFC North is not as strong as the NFC East. So the Bears will have a better chance to succeed than the New York Giants. The Green Bay Packers, they're not as strong, even though that bad man Aaron Rodgers is coming back. But there's still a lot of questions about the weapons for Aaron Rodgers. He does well, but he does, their offense is not that great. It's Aaron Rodgers that makes the offense great. And of course, we know their defense is still weak. And the Detroit Lions, like as Kelly says, there's no need to talk about Detroit Lions. They just seem to be mediocre, even though they do make it to the playoffs because it's a weak division. But they're basically the same team. Now the Vikings are definitely the class of the division, and as far as I'm concerned, the Bears, they're definitely not at the Vikings level, but they definitely can be number 2 in that division, and they definitely will have a chance for the playoffs.
All right, you heard the defense, but this is Flip It, where we flip the script and defend the opposing view. The Bad News Bears must go up against the Bad Man and a Viking team that has a defense and a shiny new quarterback. Now, outside of Philly, those Super Bowl champions, the Giants can whoop up on anybody in the NFC East. Outside of Philly, come on, You had that team out of Washington. They got Alex, but Alex is not the savior for their situation because Alex didn't buy the team and they get a new owner. As we said earlier, systematic abuse. That's what playing in Washington is, systematic abuse. Okay. And then how about them Cowboys? How about them Cowboys? Now, you got a quarterback you got a quarterback who, Massa. I'm with you, Massa. I don't know why them field plantation, folk, speak ill to you, Massa. You've been good to me, Massa. Now, I ain't saying that they got an Uncle Tom situation in Dallas. I ain't saying it. I ain't saying it. But the Bears with a quarter, still, this is second season. He got a new coach. They installing a lot of new stuff. I mean, they got potential, but as they say, it's a learning process. So not this year. But the Giants, like I said, it's anybody's game for that second spot. And, sometimes, didn't they have like that draft pick with a game changer? Oh yeah, they looking good. God is Kelly defend.
All right, when it comes to the NFC this season, there are clear division winners out there. Of course, the reigning Super Bowl champions, Philadelphia Eagles, the Minnesota Vikings with that scary defense and that new quarterback. Again, I don't think that Aaron Rodgers is going to be enough to take the Packers there. So I think that the Vikings will run away with that. The Los Angeles Rams only going to get better this season, and they are building a powerhouse. The New Orleans Saints have been proving that they aren't screwing around with, oh my gosh, a defense they found last season, which is only going to be better this season. That being said, the wild card race in the NFC, however, is so up in the air before the season starts. There is a lot of teams that were perpetually good for years that are starting to fall by the wayside. Of course, the Seattle Seahawks, unrecognizable. They are going to be basement dwellers this season. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they didn't have a very good season last season, and they are falling even farther this season. The Washington team, total turmoil. The Dallas Cowboys, again, total turmoil, especially now with locker room dissent, with Uncle Tom, Dak Prescott in that locker room. There's going to be some issues. I don't even know if they're going to be able to have a 50-50 season this year. So the New York Giants, even though they do have Eli Manning, they do, however, have Saquon Barkley, one of the most explosive running backs to come out of the college game for a very long time. He is going to make Ezekiel Elliott look like who from his rookie season. Trust me. So although I know that the New York Giants are not going to be able to get past the Philadelphia Eagles to win the division, they are going to be well in that wild card hunt with how much they have improved. And the Bears, you know what, I think that Mitch Trubisky's just not going to be able to get it done for them, not this season. So definitely the New York Giants, two teams repping the NFC East in the playoffs this year.
2 for 2. All right. First lady, defend.
Well, the New York Giants have a significant chance of regaining their glory. It's been several years since Eli Manning has been to the playoffs, and he needs to redeem himself. And the best thing going for the Giants is that they fired Ben McAdoo. Oh, my God, who was completely clueless in running a NFL football team. And their new coach, Pat Schumer, he's a major upgrade. And also, they have Mike Shula now as their offensive coordinator. So they definitely going to upgrade the offense. You know, the Giants have weapons. They'll have a healthy Odell Beckham, and they'll have Saquon Barkley, like Goddess Kelly said. And the one thing that they finally did, they improved their offensive line. So Eli will be able to become that quarterback that we all knew earlier in his career. And he's still got something left in the tank. He definitely got something left in the tank. And the other thing the Giants will definitely bring back to their fold is being a defensive-minded team. And again, like I said, that firing of Ben McAdoo, this team's morale will definitely change, because last season they didn't even give a damn, to be honest with you. That's the bottom line. They didn't care. They had injuries, and the coach, he liked to throw people under the bus. So they really didn't care. They didn't fight to be Giants, and now they will definitely regain that spirit of winning, and that's what's going to happen with the Giants. And, as far as their fight, they really don't have to fight too hard, with the exception of the Eagles. We all know the Eagles is the cream of the crop in that division. But the Washington team, we'll see what Alex Smith can do, because we know what he did in Kansas City. He is kind of a mediocre team, so we don't know. The Washington Redskins, they don't have a great defense like the Kansas City Chiefs had a great defense. That's what kept them in a lot of the games, even if, Alex Smith wasn't that great, even though he did have a good year last year. But, I just can't depend. I mean, Kirk Cousins, Alex Smith, yeah, they're about the same type of quarterback. And the Cowboys, please. We'll see about the Cowboys. I don't think Dak Prescott is that great of a quarterback. I really don't think so. Especially if Zeke Elliott is not having a good season, because we all saw what happened to him last year. I just think the Giants are definitely going to be moving up in that division. It's going to be interesting. Go New York Giants.
Now, First Lady, as you are speaking about the Giants, who is in a better situation, the New York Giants or the New York Knicks?
Don't talk about my Knicks. I love what my Knicks are doing. Oh, my gosh. I am so excited about this season. I can't wait till the basketball season starts, because I love that rookie. He's going to be great. I believe in the Knicks. They finally got rid of you-know-who. But they're the new president and everybody, they're doing the right things for the Knicks. They're finally building from within.
All right.
And next year they're going to get a superstar.
The Knickerbocker. You got, all right. Believe, and please take us to break.
Okay. Well, actually, we go to, I'm sorry. I got so, look, you drew me off guard. I got so excited about my New York Knicks. Okay. Stay tuned. Up next, the funnies and our favorite underwater friend on Flip It Part 2. You see how I get with the Knicks. I lose all control when I talk. Welcome back. You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for the funnies. Goddess Kelli, over to you.
All right. I think we got a good one for you guys today. Pet pig credited with foiling Indiana home burglary. Police said an attempted burglary at an Indiana home was foiled by an unusual guard animal, a family's pet pig. Investigators said thieves broke into an Indianapolis home through the back door this week, but they left empty-handed after apparently being confronted by Dumplin the pig. The officers were guessing when the person broke in, they were probably surprised I had a pig and were like, we don't want to deal with this. The homeowner, who did not want to be identified, told WXIN-TV. The cop was like, we definitely think they got in and made it to where Dumplin was and thought, nope, we don't want no part of it. The woman said she adopted Dumplin, the fully grown adult pig, from a rescue earlier this year. The moment I saw him, I knew he loved me instantly. He's the perfect animal, the homeowner said. Police said there were 2 other break-ins in the same neighborhood on the same day. And you know what? If Dumplin can find love with this woman, there's hope for all of the rest of you pigs out there as well. Keep looking, fellas.
Ain't that sweet? Dumplin.
And
Dumplin say, don't tread on me.
Speaking of animals that people love, it's time for my favorite underwater friend. It is time again for Flip It.
Yes, it is time for Flip It, where we definitely defend the point. All right. The Texans find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. The Colts made the moves, and it's lucky duck.
I think you misspotted the setup.
I'm sorry.
You might have to go back a little bit.
Okay, let me start this over again. The Houston Texans and the
see, that's what happens. I see that's what happens when we talk about the Knicks. We're gonna have to watch that, Goddess. Cut me off next time now. We see what it can lead to. Dreams of playoffs.
Well, it's been a long time before we even thought we could win a playoff and get in the playoff. But anyway, the Houston Texans and the Colts had a disastrous season. We wonder which one will scratch their way to the playoff berth. Panel defend. The Texans lost 4 top players to injury, and they are all returning. The Colts don't know what they are going to get or whether they'll get Andrew Luck back to the old form. No luck, they suck. Texans have the better chance. Goddess Kelli defend.
I mean, everyone knows I'm an Eagles fan through and through, but last season I was so incredibly excited about one quarterback phenom, namely Deshaun Watson. And of course, his season was cut short by that horrific injury, but he is going to be back and ready to play this season. there's no doubt in my mind if it weren't for the injury, he would have won Rookie of the Year. And I think that being that he is so young and resilient, we are going to see him come back better than ever and maybe a little smarter than ever. Of course, that was like such a weird freak injury, but maybe, he'll be kind of careful. I don't know. It wasn't like a contact injury, though. But I think that he is a quarterback that is somebody to be excited about. And then, of course, they have got the rest of the team that's not too shabby when they are all healthy. The Colts, they still don't have an offensive line. So even if Andrew Luck comes back playing the way that everyone knows Andrew Luck should play, he's probably not going to be able to stay that way. He has proven to be a fragile player, something that I'm hoping Deshaun Watson doesn't prove to be. And until the Colts can do something about an offensive line, we're just going to keep seeing the same poor results from Indianapolis. So Texans all the way, but not better than the Eagles.
Not better than the Eagles, all right. Spit face, defend.
All right, the Texans, really the Texans got hit hard. J.J. Watt, merciless. Deshaun, and the last one, but there was another top player. He was out, one of their corners. He got hurt. And what was good was that they did have a losing season, but it was the way they played. The coach kept them together with an idiot owner. That's the other plantation. Funny, both plantations are in Texas, but they would have liked the last state to be told that the slaves were free. So still suffering some remnants. Just trying to throw a little love. I like the Texas team, me and that owner, though, like him and Jerry, they kind of, but we ain't talking about them. But, I like Lucky Luck, but I didn't like the Colts when Luck was healthy. They had way too many holes. The coaching was pathetic, and I think they wasted a lot of Andrew Luck's good years, as well as set him up for injury. So Texans got a better chance.
Texas has a better chance. Yeah, injuries are definitely a part of the game, but like you said, to lose 4 top players is really unheard of, and the Texans definitely have a much, much better chance to win a playoff berth because they're a much better team than the Colts. The Colts have too many issues besides the return of Andrew Luck. Their defense still can't stop teams from scoring. But on the other hand, the Texans' defense has always been great. And the Texans had problems on the offensive side. And last year, before getting injured, Deshaun Watson was balling and had the Texans' offense looking very impressive. I expect the same with the return of Deshaun as quarterback. The AFC South is the worst division in in the NFL. The Jacksonville Jaguars are supposedly the elite, but there is no reason that the Texans can eclipse the Jaguars because I'm taking Deshaun Watson over Blake Bortles any day of the week. And this isn't, there isn't a need to talk about the Titans. They just got lucky last year. And the Texans will prove that they are the best in the AFC South. But this is flip it. So let's flip this situation. Panel defend. The Texans find a way to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. The Colts made the moves, and if Lucky Luck gets lucky, watch out. The Colts have a better chance. Spit-face defend.
One of the things that the Texans they kind of remind me of the old Cubs. And those old Cubs, they get all of it. Oh man, they smoking, get them all together and everything. And then just as it was time to do the playoff push, choke. find ways to lose. Have fans go, fans snatching balls out the air to make sure they lose, And and the thing is, the coach has been able to hold things together. So I give a coach a lot of credit. And they got talent on the team. But the big problem is that the owner is going to say something that will sabotage the team. Because he got Jerryitis. He got Jerryitis, and Jerryitis is called put silver spoon in mouth and close it, not put foot in mouth. And they have a habit of putting foot in mouth, with the shoes on. And the owner of the Texans is going to say something around the protest that involved the national anthem to try to suck up to the orange-haired one. And that's going to piss the team off. And while the coach did a miracle keeping the team together after all the plantation, he ain't, it's going to be, actually, I give the coach a lot of credit. But, man, sometimes it's like, Coach, we love you, but this over here. On the other hand, Andrew Luck need to win in that division. He need to win. He got to show that he back and that he can produce at a high level, so he can get the hell up out of the Colts. Go to it. So this we talk about contract and career. Deshaun, as bad as he gonna be, Deshaun got a bright future over the horizon. Andrew looking at, I might be going over the cliff sooner than later. And the one thing Andrew Luck got going is that he got an owner that love quarterbacks, and they don't. They like, look, we what I want to say, about my team and my peoples. I got that managed, especially since I gave up that liquor. So the owner is in a better place. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so Robert McNair, he has foot and mouth disease, is what you're saying. Spit face. Okay. God is Kelli.
Terrible affliction, a terrible affliction.
God is Kelli defend.
All right, when it comes to the Colts, they have got second-year GM Chris Ballard, and he actually came out in an interview recently and said that he realized his first season as GM, he did nothing to address his failing offensive line. And with their first 2 draft picks this year, they actually picked up guards to get some talent there and get some protection for Andrew Luck. Andrew Luck is saying that his arm strength is improving every day, and he is going to be back to the Andrew Luck that everyone in fantasy football knows and loves. So that's a very good sign for them, and the fact that they have taken those steps to protect Andrew Luck. When it comes to the Houston Texans, as much as everyone loves J.J. Watt both on and off the football field, he's starting to get a reputation for being a little bit fragile. He's had a lot of injury problems lately. And as much as I absolutely adore Deshaun Watson, the lifespan and the season span of a mobile quarterback just isn't very promising. There have been so many injuries to quarterbacks who get out of the pocket and like to be a little sneaky. As fans, we love to watch them, but it's not very good for them to be able to play an entire season. So there's a lot of quarterbacks that need to think about their health before they go making those flashy plays. I'm hoping that Deshaun Watson doesn't fall into that category, that he can keep himself out of trouble and stop himself from going down hard, but history is just not on his side. So I think that, based on Luck getting healthier and getting protection and the past injuries on the Texans, I think it's going to come back to hurt them. Not to mention, like Spitface said, dissent with ownership, that does cause a problem in the brotherhood, in the locker room. So I think the Colts do have a fighter's chance to be better than the Texans this season.
Okay, blame it on the owners. That seems to be the consensus around here. But, the Colts should be a lot better than they were last year because Andrew Luck is back. And then he immediately brings credibility to the Colts. And for the first time, Andrew Luck will be playing with a much better offensive line. That was one of the things that the management of the Colts knew that they needed to repair. Because after being knocked down for so many years, the Colts just knew that they had to help Andrew Luck at the offensive line. And the Colts also needed to make a coaching change. And they have Frank Rich. He's the right person. He was the offensive coordinator of the world champion Philadelphia Eagles. So he will bring an up-tempo style to the Colts. And he's going to bring that winning attitude. And that's what it's all about. Yeah, I know you guys talk about the Texans and their owner, but I just think the Colts has a fighting chance to win in their division because that division is always up for grabs. It's really not determined who is the better team in that division because, like I said before, it is the worst division in the NFL. So why not the Colts? Why not the Colts? That's all I got to say. Why not the Colts? Well, Goddess Kelli, what do you have cooking for us with your jambalaya? Is it going to be mild or is it going to be spicy?
All right, I think this is going to be a spicy jambalaya for you guys today. Here it comes. Two blondes fall down a well. One says to the other one, "Isn't it dark down here?" And she replies, "I don't know. I can't see." All right, so how does this quote relate to Ivanka Trump saying she's vehemently against children being separated from their parents at the border? And yeah, Ivanka, I don't know if your blonde comes out of a bottle or if it's natural. I'm not sure, sweetheart, but you know what? You need to get your butt back to the beauty salon, back to the nail parlor, back to the mall, because obviously you don't know shit about what's going on in the world. These children being separated from their parents, that's the doing of your father. Your father, who you seem to think that, you have his ear and he takes your advice because he thinks that, well, I mean, he said before that he thinks that you're beautiful, and if you weren't his child, he'd want to be with you. That is just creepy in so many freaking ways. Your family has got so many weird daddy issues that, you know what, if any children should be separated from their parents, it's Donald Trump's children, because, like I said, that is just a creepy thing right there. But, yeah, so if you don't like children being separated from their parents, then maybe you should talk to your daddy about changing his stance on border control. Maybe the only nice thing about Trump's wall when he builds it is maybe, more children and their parents might not be able to get over together and they won't have to be separated. I don't know. I'm against the wall. I'm against children being separated. And I just want to remind everyone that illegal entry, which is what border crossing is not a felony offense. It is a misdemeanor. It is the same thing as, accidentally having a few too many to drink and getting behind the wheel and driving drunk. It is against the law. It's a stupid thing to do, but you don't deserve to get your children taken away if you do one stupid thing. And I am just completely, I'm at a loss for words. I really am. Ivanka, yeah, shh, quiet. Just be quiet. First Lady, what you got to say?
Well, Goddess Kelli, I took it a little bit differently. And the reason why I took it a little bit differently because I think Ivanka really can't see what her foreign policies are doing. But I have to applaud her. I give her credit for at least speaking out against his policy. At least she's not weak like her brothers who seem to be up their father's behind. At least Ivanka is a strong-willed woman who can stand up against what her father is saying. She is against children being separated from their parents because she is a mother herself. She understands how devastated she would be if her children were removed from her. So, mean, so let's at least give her credit for speaking out. And she's been speaking out lately about things that her father supports. You know, she recently also spoke out about the fact that the media is not the enemy of the people. She feels that media is important. And you know how her father feels about the media. Matter of fact, it was funny that he had to come back out with another tweet trying to say that, you know, he is the fake news, not the regular media. But we know what Donald Trump is. But at least to me, Ivanka is her own woman, and she does stand up against her father. Now, can she convince him? I don't think anybody convinced Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to do what Donald Trump is going to do. So we can't fault Ivanka. At least she's trying. So she is kind of separating and distancing herself from her father. So let's give her credit for that. That's what I'm saying.
If you want to think that it is a true her being distant and not just being oblivious, I'll give her credit. I'll give her a chance. Big Face, what you got to say about Ivanka?
I ain't giving her no goddamn credit.
I'll stand on my island alone.
Not a least bit. She is a fraud. If she really wanted to demonstrate, she would leave the administration. That's how you show that, okay, well, Dad, you ain't going to listen to me. I done told y'all, well, I got to step down. I can't be a part of an administration where I'm against the policy. So all the fake, see, the thing is, here's the deal. Because Donald Trump run everything. Did you ever see The Godfather? I know y'all have seen The Godfather. Michael, everything. Don't go down. So Ivanka don't make a comment freely. Ivanka make a comment after Daddy say, okay, it's all right for you to do that. So Daddy done said, look, okay, Ivanka, you know what? It ain't gonna hurt me for you to, say if anything, it's gonna give you some props. Well, baby, I love you. I ain't worried about it because you ain't gonna really attack nothing I say. So for you to be able to say, hey, look, and, get some brownie points, baby girl, you can do that. You can do that because you ain't gonna get fired. Now somebody that I'm worried about saying that, say I'm vehemently against, let the Secretary of Homeland Security say something like that. Oh yeah, they fired. It ain't gonna even be no obstruction. He'll say, look, this ain't got jack to do with obstruction of justice. This be when said what? Out. So that's how that deal works. So no credit, none. Milking the people shamelessly. She don't care. That is not in there. That has not been a modus operandi, period. Ivanka Trump don't care. Don't. But she care about the image that she cares. That's all I'm saying.
All right, and Bras, Panties, and Sports would like to let everyone know that no blondes will be smirched or harmed in any way in the production of that segment. All right, that was delicious. Now, First Lady, take us to break.
On the other side of break, we have another performance from Chris Jasper on Shout Out. Please, Shout Out Part 2. Please stay tuned. Look, she's no dumb blind. Give Bianca some credit. My goodness. Let us stick it in water.
I get a dumb blind some credit.
You are still listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's time for Shout Out Part 2, the picks, and the finale. The music flows from around the globe to get a shout-out from our crew. Goddess Kelli, over to you.
All right, we have got another performance from Chris Jasper. So, DJ, let's hear Show Somebody Love.
Why can't we find a way to peace, yeah? Inside we have the answer, not far away beyond our reach. Ooh, step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. Ooh, won't you step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. Why can't we hear the children? Hear them as they laugh and play, yeah. Imagine what they're feeling. The world could be that way someday. Oh, step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. All you got to do is step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. I know it's not too late. Show somebody love. Little love is all it takes. The future is so bright if we decide to do what's right. Oh, won't you step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. All you got to do is step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love, yeah. Show somebody love. Let's have a celebration of brotherhood and unity, yeah. Let's give instead of taking, and comfort everyone in need. Oh, step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love. All you got to do is step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love. Show somebody love. Come on and step up, baby. Show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love now. Show somebody love. All you got to do is step up, show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love. Show somebody love. Gotta step up, baby. Show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love now. Show somebody love. All you got to do is step up. Show somebody love. Woo! Step up, show somebody love now. Show somebody love. All you have to do is step up. Show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love now. Somebody love. All you got to do is step up. Show somebody love. Step up, show somebody love. Yeah.
All right, that was Show Somebody Love. So is the track getting a shout out or the mute button? Now, once again with this one, I like the instrumental. I like that kind of throwback classic R&B sound to it. His voice was slightly more confident and manly in this one than it was in the first one, but the voice was nothing special. He can sing. Don't get me wrong. He can sing. He can carry a tune. It's not the tone. There's just nothing special about it. It's generic. I thought the song was a little bit too redundant and went on a little bit too long. So I'm going to give it a mute. I'm not feeling Chris Jasper. What did you think, First Lady?
Well, the first song I gave a yo. This song, I'm going to shout out this song. I like this song. It had a little catchy beat to it. Yeah, it may have been redundant, but it's still, I was tapping my feet with this song. And his voice, it's not like an overpowering voice. It's not, like you said, a special voice. But like we said, he stays in his lane. But this song I particularly like much better than the first song. So I'm shouting it out.
Spitface, what do you think of Chris Jasper?
I was on the fence between a yo and a shout out, and the first lady pulled me over. So I'm gonna give it a shout out. Well, I like that. Sometimes staying in your lane can be underrated, and I call it more like what you like and who you trying to appeal to. So you ain't like, look, I'm trying to change up to get the teeny boppers, So I'd say that, now my mama and daddy, they'd be like, he kind of a smoothie. They'd like you, And so I go, you got them. And that might have been who you was going to in the first place. Like you trying to get that old OJs and audience and them smoothie groovies. Not the old school, the dusties. So I think you was just going back to the tradition of the dusties. So back when you had Smokey and all them old folks singing. So I'm gonna give you a shout out. I like it. You had a couple. You could step and dance to that one.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead, First Lady.
No, I would just say he's right. That's stepping music. He appeals to the old school crowd. So he hit the point with that one. Definitely.
All right. Well, if you are a little bit old school and if you liked what you heard from Chris Jasper, you can check him out at chrisjasper.com, ChrisJasper. And if you would like to be heard or have any comments, you can send your emails and tracks to panties@oldgrumpyradio.com. And now my favorite part of the show, over to the First Lady for the picks.
The hardball picks who will wear the crown. That's a mouthful. But anyway, unfortunately, we do not have the results. This is the second week, so we need to get our results. All right, production crew, you need to get with it, with helping me with these results. But anyway, let's go to the current picks. By the end of next Friday, Baltimore will have more wins than Kansas City. 5,000 for the correct answer, minus 5,000 for the incorrect answer. I'll start it off. I'm going to say no. Goddess Kelli?
I'm going to go yes.
Mm-hmm. All right. Spitface?
KC, no.
KC, no. Okay. Toronto will have more wins than the Twins. Goddess Kelli?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh, I'm going to say no. Spitface?
No.
All right. Spitface is hanging with me. Okay. San Diego will have more wins than the Mets. Spitface, you're up first.
No.
Oh, let me go 5,000 for the win, minus 5,000 for the loss. Would you say
No.
San Diego will have more wins than the Mets?
No.
All right. Spitface, are you kidding? Didn't the Mets just give up 25 runs recently?
They do for a rebound.
Okay, well, I'm going to say yes. I'm definitely saying yes. Goddess Kelli?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Washington more wins than the Angels. 5,000 for the wins, minus 5,000 for the loss. All right, Washington. I'm going to say Washington, yes. They will have more wins. Goddess Kelli?
Yes.
Spitface?
No.
No. And finally, St. Louis will have more wins than San Francisco. Ooh, a whopping 10,000 with the right answer and minus 20 with the wrong answer. Think carefully about this one. I'm going to start with you, Goddess Kelli.
I am going to go with no. Let's go San Fran.
All right. I'm going to say yes. Spitface.
No.
No. Okay. We'll definitely have those results next week because I got to get on the production assistance. It's time for our outrageous predictions. All right. Goddess Kelly, what is your outrageous prediction?
The NFL fans are going to revolt against the new no helmet tackle rule, and the NFL will revoke it.
That's outrageous. Spitface, what's your outrageous prediction?
Mitch Trubisky will have better QB stats than Kirk Cousins.
Well, I had my outrageous prediction last week. It almost came to fruition, but I'm going to do it again. Tiger Woods will win the PGA this weekend. That's my outrageous prediction. He almost did it last week.
Your boo is back.
Yes, he is. He is definitely back. He actually had to leave, but anyway. As great as LeBron James is as an athlete, he is truly a much better person that any parent would want their child to idolize. He gives back to the community, and this past week, he revealed his promise school for 240 third and fourth graders who will make up the inaugural class at the I Promise School. The great thing about LeBron's school is that it is a public school. I am such an advocate of building up our public schools, and I applaud LeBron for seeing the future of our kids, and we need to do everything we can as individuals to make sure that we support public schools. Goddess Kelly, what is happening in your world? What do you want the listeners to know?
I am having a naughty little summer break, but you can follow my shenanigans on social media, mostly on Facebook, at my name, KELLIERUTTAR. Come have fun. Let's fight. See my pictures. See my fun.
Okay, taking a break. All right, you can check me out on Twitter at Cheryl Smith, at FirstLadyOfSports.com. First Lady of Sports. And please visit us at BrasPantySports.com, where you'll find links for each of us, our original episodes, and the Bearskin Lounge with Dizzy Mac. E pluribus unum, out of many, one. Join us in demanding Congress honor the dignity of our fellow citizens from Puerto Rico and convene hearing into President Trump's humanitarian disaster. Remember, they are our fellow citizens. E pluribus unum. This is Cheryl Smith, the First Lady of Sports Talk, Goddess Kelly, and Spitface. You have been listening to Bras, Panties, and Sports. It's a wrap.